is eventually they start wearing similar looking outfits, but Vivian keeps posing like similar outfits, same pose as Valeria.
Oh, hell no. This picture's enough for me to agree with the fact that she was copying her, that she wanted her life. It'd be one thing if it was just the dress, but she's also wearing the neck piece.
In one clip, Valeria's live streaming and she looks to the side and she shouts at Vivian, "You're gonna steal my panties again? Like, why don't you just bring your own, Vivian?"
Ew. Using another girl's panties, like...
Valeria Marquez starts her last TikTok live stream May 13th, 2025. And a delivery driver comes up with this mysterious gift in a black bag. And he's like, "This is for Valeria." Valeria announces that Vivian texted her that she needs to stay and wait because Vivian wants to see her face.
Wait, that's weird. Vivian, her friend, told her that she has to stay? Why is it in Vivian's interest that she stays?
Ya viene.
Valeria leans forward, mutes the live stream, and a few seconds later, you see her holding her stomach with her mouth open.
So this is the moment. Yeah, this is the moment she was assassinated. Hello, YouTube. In today's video, we are back with my wife. I'm kidding. sorry, no. She's married. Stop, chat. But we're back with Rotten Mango, aka Stephanie. We're back with another horrible true crime case today. A case that I've actually talked about like a year ago. I think I talked about this case a year ago, back when it first happened, because it has to do with a Mexican content creator in Mexico. So let me just read you guys the title. Influencer killed on TikTok live and internet suspects her BFF did it to destiny swap with her. What the fuck? Wait, I actually didn't hear about that. What? Destiny swap. Oh, you know what? But I do vaguely remember that that was a rumor that her BFF had hired somebody to kill her on her live stream. By the way, we're talking about the girl on the left right here. Her BFF was like jealous and she hired a hitman to kill her. And the murder took place while she was live streaming, which is fucked up. So yeah, to see Stephanie release a video must mean that a lot of new information must have been released. So here we are again revisiting this case. I'm Mexican, so I'm always very interested in learning about these Mexican cases.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Have you ever heard of the term destiny swapping? The term was thrown around a lot on TikTok at the end of last year. It's a term with the definition and the mechanisms of how to destiny swap, how it's done. They're still debated. Practically every TikTok that you see explaining exactly what destiny swapping is, you're gonna see some sort of, well, that's not exactly what it is in the comments, and then a different explanation for destiny swapping. One person states, the definition is a little dark and complicated. It involves using negative energy, including jealousy, to impact someone's life and take their blessings.
Oh my God. Is this witch talk? Is this witchcraft TikTok? Is this like similar to those types of people where it's like you want to hex somebody? You want to be like, oh, I want your life, so I'm going to put a spell on you and I'm going to output this negative energy to take your life from you.
Which is like very vague and ominous. Another person states, a destiny swap occurs when one person tries to take another person's life, like their spiritual, gifts, finances, friends, or job for their own. Destiny swapping is usually rooted in jealousy and insecurity. They want to take what your future holds for you for themselves. Some say destiny swapping feels like someone is entering your life under the guise of being a friend, but you start noticing that they seem a little jealous of you. Like, that's how it always starts. While at the same time, they copy the smallest, minute details of your life. And this has nothing to do with gatekeeping. This is not just, oh, I love your jacket. Where did you get it? I'm gonna buy the same one. Do you care? But this is copying your tiniest, little, smallest mannerisms, your habits. Small, I mean, everybody copies everybody's mannerisms the longer you're hanging out, but it's just the small things that you don't naturally pick up. It's almost like they're making an effort to emulate you. Small, little, stylistic choices. They say it's usually when someone becomes unusually focused on your life. Not just your clothes or your style, your entire life, your relationships, your routine that you think is mundane, decisions, why you make decisions. The admiration or curiosity starts feeling like they're doing a lab study on you. And that individual may also be condemning what you do, critiquing why you make certain decisions, but then they go ahead and they replicate it. They go and they do the same thing that you wanted to do that they talked you out of.
Damn, so they don't only copy the right things you do, they copy your wrongs as well. Holy obsession. Does anybody in chat like have anybody like that that's like that obsessed with them? I have a couple. I think I know of a couple out there because, like, you know, being a large content creator, like you have a bunch of haters, like a bunch of people that are like so obsessed and envious of you. But yeah, I think a lot of people in chat can relate, honestly.
And that individual may also be condemning what you do, critiquing why you make certain decisions, but then they go ahead and they replicate it. They go and they do the same thing that you wanted to do that they talked you out of. And they gain the success for themselves that you had planned for yourself. One person writes a long plea on Reddit. Please, could you pray for me? I believe my former partner's new girlfriend has destiny swapped me. The original poster writes about how she was into the occult for a long time. She received a reading from this very trusted psychic. This is like May of 2025. And she gets this reading, and the reader is telling her that she's going to get pregnant with a little baby boy with her boyfriend at the time. The baby boy will be born February 2026. And she writes, soon after that, my ex of 6 years, he cheated on me with this girl that he had known for a week, got with her the day after we ended. She's also very spiritual, and I believe she practices witchcraft. She's like made a few comments about it. But anyway, guess who found out they were pregnant with a little boy in May of 2025 and gave birth in February of 2026? The new girl.
Look what we have here. We have a witchcraft mention. In one way or another, I knew we were going to get at least one mention of witchcraft, because this sounds like witch talk, bro. This literally sounds like witch TikTok.
The new girl. She says since then she's faced constant job rejections. She feels like she's in a slump that she cannot get over. She feels drained, as if living the same life over and over again, getting into arguments with her family, facing financial difficulties. She's like, is this destiny swapping? She feels like it is. One person asks, Spirituality Reddit, is destiny swapping real? I strongly believe my friend is trying to destiny swap with me. Every time she complains about something, the same thing she's complaining about miraculously starts happening to me. And then it kind of resolves in her life. She kind of solves that problem in her own life, but it's unfolding for me.
Wait, that makes so much sense. I think somebody in chat did destiny swap with me. I've been feeling it because my dick is really tiny. So I think somebody destiny swapped me before I was even born. I think that's why I've had a small dick my whole life. I think somebody gave me it. Yeah, somebody took my bigger one. I don't know why I said that shit. I don't know.
And then it kind of resolves in her life. She kind of solves that problem in her own life, but it's unfolding for me. This has been happening for years about multiple different things across all different things like love life, financial problems, family problems, and now career-related stuff as well. Please help me. I am desperate. Like, how do I solve this? It seems difficult to differentiate between a bad friend and a destiny swapper that could be a bad friend as well without... I mean, sometimes you could maybe have a bad friend who is unknowingly, unwittingly destiny swapping with you and you don't even know it. It's hard to say what exactly constitutes as someone trying to destiny swap. I have watched so many TikToks on this. I've read so many Reddit threads on this, and it is still unclear to me. Some say it's very simple. Like, it's not even that big. Someone obsessively copying, mirroring you. A person in your life starts dressing like you, talking like you, pursuing your exact dreams, or becoming fixated on your every move. See, it's common. Like, sometimes friends will dress similarly. Sometimes friends will be in the same industry, but someone who is doing everything the same as you. They want to dress like you, they want to eat like you, they want to go into the same field as you. An example is an acquaintance who begins adopting your unique style, career path, and even mannerisms right before your own progress halts. That's when you know someone's trying to destiny swap. Someone comments, someone tell Jeff Bezos to watch out because once I figure this out, it's over for him. But one Reddit comment seems reassuring. They write, for reference, nobody can steal your identity. Your fate is tied to you and you can't really tamper with it in this way. If it would be possible, it would take a phenomenally skilled practitioner, not just Joe Public. Others say, no, don't listen to this person. It's very real and it's very serious. However, it's also serious for the person trying to destiny swap. They say the person who wants to destiny swap is going to suffer misfortune in the long run, because fate works really hard to restore itself, and the person who wanted the swap will usually suffer the consequences. Typically, once the destiny swap is reversed, because it is always reversed, that person will eventually lose everything that they've gained as a result of the exchange. But what if they don't? Like, what if they successfully destiny swap? One TikToker ominously puts it like this: the most dangerous part of destiny swapping is they want to be the only one to experience the predetermined course of events. So it goes from wanting a piece of your destiny to wanting to be the only person that has your destiny. They want you to not even be on the same course. They want to be the only one to get to that destination. They have now decided that's my destination and I want to be the only one to get there. And of course, to be the only one, they got to take you out fully.
So basically kill him. So basically it's like, okay, I want your life, but only one of us. I want to be the only one with your life. So I have to kill you now.
That is what a lot of people believe may have happened to a famous influencer in Mexico, Valeria. It's believed by many netizens that someone that was so close to her, was so jealous of her, wanted to live her life, wanted to have her destiny so badly, she took her out. This is the case of 23-year-old Valeria Marquez and how she was shot and killed during a TikTok live stream, and nobody thinks the real killer is the gunman. They think it's one of her closest friends and someone who wanted her life.
Oh no, wait, so is this gonna be like a big ass conspiracy theory once again, like people online wanting to make a fantastical story? Oh no. So they basically turned her death into a spectacle, into like some kind of entertainment, basically, by coming up with theories about, oh, it was actually her BFF that wanted to destiny swap with her, and so she had someone kill him. Oh, okay. So let me guess, in all actuality, it was just like some dude that wanted to kill him. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe the BFF did hire somebody to kill her, but there wasn't like this whole destiny Destiny swapping shit. We'll see. We're about to find that out.
Today's case has mentions of gun, gender, and potential cartel-based violence. Please take a break if you need to. Thank you to our professional translators who helped us navigate this case. There was a lot going on.
I speak Spanish, Stephanie. You can hire me. I can be a professional translator for cases like this. You know, just putting it out there.
Let's get started. Valeria Marquez is most often compared to a real-life Barbie in Mexico. She's got blonde hair. I mean, albeit it is dyed, but she does have the blonde hair. She's got the blue eyes, and those blue eyes are natural. She just has these absolutely unreal body proportions, and I'm not...
Yeah, I forgot how Barbie-like this woman was. Yeah, rest in peace to her. What was her name again? Valeria?
Valeria Marquez is most often compared to a real-life Barbie in Mexico. She's got blonde hair. I mean, albeit it is dyed, but she does have the blonde hair. She's got the blue eyes, and those blue eyes are natural. She just has these absolutely unreal body proportions, and I'm not saying that as in like, oh, she's had work done. She has had work done, and she is very open and honest about it, but her proportions are like straight out of a Barbie box. She looks like a Barbie. She's stunning. She's got her own business. She recently opened up her own beauty spa, the Blossom Beauty Lounge. It kind of worked out perfectly. I mean, she's got like a social media following. They follow her for her looks. She's been open about the treatments she gets, and now you can go straight to the source. Plus, she's like the built-in marketing for the spa. May 13th, 2025. Valeria starts a TikTok live stream at the salon. The live stream...
This is where she dies. I think she gets shot in this live stream.
Valeria starts a TikTok live stream at the salon. The live stream itself lasts just under an hour, about 55 minutes, and the majority of the live stream, I would say, is pretty mundane. Like, there's really nothing out of the ordinary occurring, except, I mean, the fact that it appears Valeria wants to go home. Like, she just wants to go home from the spa earlier, but she's staying because one of her employees informs her, there's a guy looking for you. So there's this kind of like this side conversation happening.
So the guy is outside the door right here in this moment. That's so scary. Yeah, girls have it so tough nowadays. Like, yeah, I just feel for girls that make it big on social media, because girls are even more likely than guys to have like these insane stalkers that like want to cause harm to them.
So there's this kind of like this side conversation happening throughout the entire live stream, and she's like, what guy? And the employee is telling her, I don't know, some delivery man came and he was looking for you. He's like, are you Valeria? And I was like, no, I'm just her employee, but she's gonna be back in an hour, because she had gone to the doctor's. And he's like, well, I have a package for her and it's very expensive. So the employee's like, well, I'll take it. Like, that's my boss. She's gonna come back to the salon in an hour. And he said, no, I have to give it straight to Valeria. So I can't leave it with you, but I'll be back.
Okay, so she found out about this in the middle of her live stream?
She found out a little bit before, and she's explaining to her live stream viewers what's happening and why she's still at the spa, even though there's no customers anymore. It's just her and her employee waiting for this mysterious delivery man. And she doesn't know what it is, but her employee was like, I think it looked like an expensive gift, but he didn't say who it was from. Like, he didn't say anything. He just said he had to drop it off with you. 50 minutes into the live stream, a delivery man walks in with said mysterious present and asks if she is Valeria Marquez. She says yes, and she mutes the live stream.
Oh no, was that the moment? Was the delivery driver the killer? That must have been the moment when she said yes to confirm who she was. The guy was like, okay, here we go. This is my target.
She says yes, and she mutes the live stream.
Do we see what's going on, or just her face?
We just see her. And right then and there, after she mutes it, the man opens fire and shoots her first in the chest, then twice in the head, killing her on her own TikTok live stream.
In frame?
Yeah. At some point, and I'm not sure the exact statistics, there came a point where, you know how we have WAGs, wives and girlfriends of athletes. There became this narco culture where there's almost like WAGs for narcos.
I didn't know that was a thing. What? WAGs? Wives and girlfriends of athletes? Wait, what?
Wives and girlfriends of athletes. There became this narco culture where there's almost like WAGs for narcos. Wives and girlfriends of the biggest narcos, like the biggest traffickers, cartel members.
They're famous?
Cartel.
Yeah, they're famous, widely
Oh,
known.
yeah, like the...
El Chapo's
Yeah,
wife
yeah,
is
yeah.
the most famous one. Yeah, she is like kind of symbolic of this exact lifestyle and term that we're about to get into. And I think it has to do with the fact that, I mean, I'm not sure exactly on the exact statistics because I don't think they're filing taxes and identifying themselves, but I'm not sure exactly how many traffickers are women, but I would imagine most narco traffickers are still predominantly men. So naturally, they date people and people identify those people. You see almost this lifestyle around it. There is a slang term that's used to reference some of them, and our researchers say it's like a very common term. It's not like derogatory or anything, but it's buchonas. So it comes from the word of like a very high...
Buchonas.
It comes from the word of like a very high-end, well-loved liquor brand from the Sinaloa cartel that they all drank.
Okay.
It's like confusing. It's hard to describe the
They
word.
called
Okay.
the girlfriend and the wife's that term?
Buchonas, but yes, but it's also a lifestyle.
Oh.
So it's a word that became popular in Sinaloa, Mexico. At first, it's like a way to describe the very extravagant girlfriends of new age narcos. So again, like
Interesting.
Emma from El Chapo, like El Chapo's wife, right? And it can broadly be referencing all narco wives and girlfriends. Like some people use it to categorize anyone who dates any narco. Okay. Or it can just be referencing a very specific type of girlfriend who dates a trafficker. Usually they are identifiable. And I was like reading through a lot of the translated, almost like historian type articles that were written. So people who are studying these trends in Mexico, like Mexican journalists who are studying the rise of the narco culture and narco world, usually they wear tight and flashy clothing. Understated is not.
Holy ass. Holy Jesus Christ. 2 full moons, bro. Hey, Chad, is that natural? Double cheeked up. That's quadruple cheeked up.
Understated is not the goal. They like brand names, typically Versace and Louis Vuitton. Those are like the two. Long hair, long nails, Coke bottle body proportions. Makeup is done in a very dramatic fashion, heavy on the eyeshadow, eyeliner, fake lashes. Usually there's a lot of emphasis on breast augmentations, liposuction, BBLs. I will say there is a link between the cartel and cosmetic surgery, since many cartel traffickers are known to pay for their girlfriends' cosmetic surgeries, and sometimes all of their girlfriends. One famous surgeon was interviewed by a journalist, and he said, you know, there was one single high-up cartel member who came in, paid for 30 women's different surgeries, all paid in cash. I don't know if it was all at the same time, but it seems like in a short span of time. You would have to think that there's some overlap for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. That's not as, I guess, relevant, but the word buchona now means a lot of things. So at first it was basically just anyone who dates a trafficker, but then it transforms into, okay, well, it's the type of women who date a trafficker and they all have a certain look to them. Think like Kim Kardashian, Lauren Sanchez look. Then it was, no, it's anyone who's involved in the narco lifestyle that is a woman. So it's like an aesthetic, right? It's like, you know how Y2K is an aesthetic? This is kind of the narco aesthetic. It's more like a blanket term for a lifestyle. Affiliated with cartels or not, it's just an aesthetic. It's to describe a woman who likes to show off what God and her surgeon may have given her, which is nothing wrong with that. And someone who doesn't hide the fact that they have very large personalities, like a woman who doesn't hide the fact that she's very vocal and strong, and they like to party, and they like to meet people, including men. And like, what's wrong with that? That is a woman's prerogative after all, okay? But one Mexican reporter describes the lifestyle as they represent glamour and authority in their own way. You know, you have these powerful women. It's not this Mexican woman who is submissive without money. These women have Chanel, Gucci. It's a search. It's almost a search for an identity of power. There was even a show called Las Buchonas, which followed the lives of 4 women with ties to cartels. I guess it's kind of like mob wives. That's the vibe I get. It's like mob wives. Like we went through a trend where we were obsessed with mob wives. Like we wanted to know who was dating which mob boss who was in federal prison. You know what I mean?
Fucking Mexico, bro.
Oh, just like regions?
Yeah, I guess instead of the mob and the mafia, it's just the cartel.
I see.
Right, which I mean, I guess we can sit here and debate which one has the more harmful negativity to humankind as a whole, but you know, it's essentially the same thing. You're dating someone who has a lot of power and a lot of money that is in organized crime, right? Drug trafficking.
Yo, somebody in chat said GTA strip club builds. I've never heard that to describe a build before.
There are times it obviously gets a little bit out of control. Normalizing drug trafficking and glorifying the lifestyle is objectively not a good thing that I would encourage anyone to do. However, one viral incident has pissed off a lot of Mexican netizens because someone decided to throw their 8-year-old daughter a buchona style birthday party. Not just with like the style of clothing and makeup, which is already, you know, it's fine as an adult, but not fine if you're 8 years old, but also by providing prop alcohol bottles and prop guns to take pictures with. And it's interesting, I will say though, because sometimes the wives and girlfriends of drug traffickers are looked down upon more than the drug traffickers themselves, which I thought is fascinating. It's kind of sick and twisted and sad. Okay, don't get me wrong. I think drug trafficking is looked down upon everywhere, right? But there is, you know, somewhat of a sentiment of, well, if certain governments cannot help you and people are born into a condition where the only thing around them is this option that they need to put food on the table, perhaps they did not get into it out of greed, but rather survival. Is it still bad? Yes, but like there's still more of a nuanced take. That type of grace does not lend itself to the wags of narcos for some reason. Like the women are considered shallow and gold diggers and never really given the same small amount of grace, I guess. That like, well, maybe there was no other way for them to put food on the table and find safety, but...
Yeah, it's the same thing when you see some girls, like, after they turn 18, they go into sex work, like, pretty quickly because, like, obviously it's frowned upon. Like, people don't really look at work as like a respectable thing, but a lot of times it's because of financial need. Like they really need to put money on the table. So yeah, sometimes it is a very unfortunate situation. Like sometimes these people have to do drug stuff, yeah, just to stay alive. And yeah, Mexico's standard of living isn't the best.
That type of grace does not lend itself to the wags of narcos for some reason. Like the women are considered shallow and gold diggers and never really given the same small amount of grace, I guess. That like, well, maybe there was no other way for them to put food on the table and find safety. But anyway, it's just interesting. It's fascinating.
So they are mostly looked down upon by the mass?
Yes, I would say most Mexican netizens do not like this flaunting of this lifestyle. I mean, I guess it's the same in the US. Like if you see pictures on Facebook of people holding wads of cash and guns, you're like,
Yeah.
That's not good. I wouldn't want my kid to do that. I don't have kids or, whoever.
I see.
Now, do all drug traffickers and their romantic interests come from such backgrounds where there really is nothing to do but survive off of trafficking? Probably not. But it's just, I think it's interesting that the women always get ripped apart quicker and more than the traffickers. It's like kind of weird. It almost seems like a bigger moral sin to date a trafficker than it is to be a trafficker. I think it's idiotic, but no one asked for my opinion ever. The Buchona lifestyle has a lot of nuanced debate around it. And Valeria is a very famous Mexican influencer that some people associated with that lifestyle.
Do we know if she is or not? Or...
She kept it under wraps whilst she was alive.
Dude, she is so pretty. I gotta say that, bro. You can't deny it. She was really pretty.
There was always suspicions. I think people started picking up different things, right? In the beginning, when she was still alive, I don't think people had confirmation whether or not she was emulating a lifestyle because that was her personal style and interest, or whether she was involved with someone who is a trafficker. Because it's also an aesthetic now. So it's very confusing of like, was it just an aesthetic that she really liked? Because there's a lot of women in Sinaloa specifically who have made influencer careers, clothing companies based off of the Buchona lifestyle, but it's unclear whether or not they have any relation to any cartel or have ever dated a trafficker. So is it like a situation like that? I mean, she's very open. I mean, her look, I guess people immediately identify to be part of this lifestyle, which I'm not entirely sure if it makes sense, but she's very open about her cosmetic procedures. Everyone called her the real life Barbie. And I also think it's very refreshing for the audience because she embraced the nickname, but she's also like so straightforward that her doctor had a lot to do with it. She states, I've had breast augmentation surgery, liposuction, rib reduction, fat transfer to my hips, my butt, cheek reduction surgery, like the buccal fat removal, and that's it. And she's got like,
God damn, she was the original looks maxer, bro.
and she's got like a very curvy yet slim figure. She dyes her hair blonde. She's got natural blue eyes. This was another point where people were like, well, now I'm confused. She would post a lot of pictures of herself on yachts, private planes, parties, which is not unlike a lot of influencers in the US where they're always on yachts and we're like, how are you on a yacht? We don't know. Nobody knows, right? So netizens are just kind of wondering, how can she afford such a lifestyle? And that naturally leads people to speculating that she's involved with a narco.
It's pretty likely. That's an expensive lifestyle, bro. Even very successful content creators, they don't make the kind of money that's needed to afford private fucking jets. Do you guys know how expensive private jets are? It's ridiculous. You gotta be balling like close to billionaire status, or like at the very least 500 million and up to be able to afford private jets and shit. So to afford that kind of lifestyle, I could probably see the possibility of her dating a narco, like a cartel member or something like that. Yeah, they make a lot of money, like a fuck ton of money.
Is she a big time influencer or?
She's pretty big. I would think that maybe got bigger after her death, but she was pretty big. There's also a video of her trying to carry a giant bouquet of roses that she received as a present, which in Mexico, big bouquets of red roses are, I mean, same here, sign of affection, yes, but like mainly a sign of wealth. They're often referred to as ramo buchon, so bouquet buchon, like buchon again references someone associated with drug trafficking culture. So like bouquet and then drug trafficking lifestyle. Because I guess those are typically the people who flaunt it and will follow this trend. And it does take quite a bit of money to, it's like a very specific aesthetic, right? So people are like, well, does that mean that she's dating a trafficker? We don't really know. And she's always she's like weirdly private about her dating life, but not private. So she'll tell us about things that happened with her ex-boyfriend, but she won't straight up tell us who she was dating. She'll post some pictures, but his face is hidden, right? So it's kind of like you kind of get an idea, but not really. Now, she also does have a very big personality, so people just assumed that's also part of her dating a trafficker. I'm not a narc. I don't even know. Just by looking at her clothing, her lifestyle, I don't know if she even falls into this category, but they say she did. She just, to me, seems like a normal girl just having fun. I watched a lot of her live streams that our researchers translated, and she just has blunt humor, and people keep trying to say, oh, this is that lifestyle, and I just think that she's just blunt. Like in a video, her uncle, who is a hairdresser, is doing her hair and she's responding to live comments. She's live streaming. Someone makes a dig at her in the comments. They ask her, do you come from Temu? Basically insinuating that she's factory made and cheap. And she reads it out loud and quickly responds, actually from Shein, babes.
Viene de Temu, de Shein, bebé.
Do you come from Temu? From Shein, baby.
Viene de Temu, de Shein, bebé.
And she doesn't even seem bothered in the slightest. Like, in fact, she seems slightly amused by her own response, but her uncle is defending her. Like, those girls who comment, like, I want to see them in person. What, are they Dior or something? And she clarifies, well, it was a guy that commented. But then another person tries to be snarky, asking, what do you have that is natural? And she thinks about it for a second and she says, my eyes, my nose, and my feelings. And she starts chuckling at her own words. And like, if having a big personality and having Barbie-like proportions and being a girl's girl is a certain lifestyle, like maybe we should all join that lifestyle. Valeria's audience seems to primarily be other girls and women. She had her own private Instagram channel where she would drop messages, pictures, stories about her life. It's called Personal Girlfriends. And just a quick disclaimer, the conversation of Buchona lifestyles and her potentially dating traffickers is going to be relevant after her death. So I'm not just talking in depth about it, even though it's unrelated. It's going to be pretty pertinent to the investigation into her passing. Now, there's a lot of Valeria's digital footprints that have since gone viral again after her passing, with people digging up old posts. One of these circulating ones is not long before her death. Valeria posts a screenshot of text messages between her and a friend of hers. The point seems to be showcasing their very goofy banter that they have, joking about Valeria's love life, and we don't get too much context. So some people pick it apart to understand Valeria's love life because they think her passing has to do with her love life. Others think it's unrelated. So there's a lot of different interpretations. But she is texting one of her best friends, like her public best friend, who is also posting on TikTok and Instagram all the time. Her name is Vivian. So Vivian texts Valeria something. People think it's about how she should get back together with her ex. The ex being a suspected trafficker is what people think, okay? But Valeria responds, ha ha ha, I would rather shit in my soup.
Oh, ew. So this is her best friend that people are suspecting was jealous of Valeria.
So Vivian texts Valeria something. People think it's about how she should get back together with her ex. The ex being a suspected trafficker is what people think, okay? But Valeria responds, ha ha ha, I would rather shit in my soup. Vivian writes back, bitch, I know you want it, ha ha ha. She says, I mean, yes. And Vivian says, I will throw some lime at you. So lime, I guess, has some sort of like purifying context. Like, I'm going to purify you, right? And she said, but no, ha ha ha. So Valeria is like, yes, but no, like I would never. They joke about how the thing has died. I don't know if it's the love or whatever. And she's like, not even in my nightmares would I. So Valeria is talking very strongly about how she would never get back to together with her ex, is what the conversation seems like. Now, this is where people think it's weird because Vivian texts her, the only one visiting you. Basically insinuating that Valeria's love life is very isolated and empty right now. And she jokes, the only one visiting you is myself, Santa, and your uncles. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, that was weird. That's a weird comment. It's weird for your best friend to be saying some shit like that, like teasing you about your loneliness or something. Like after this seemingly innocent conversation, I don't know, that's weird.
And she jokes, the only one visiting you is myself, Santa, and your uncles. Ha 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 ha. So Valeria is close to her best friend, Vivian. She's very close to her uncles. She actually started her salon with one of her uncles. And Santa, as in La Santa Muerta, the Holy Death. Not
Oh, I thought she made a joke about Santa Claus. Like the only person that visits you is Santa Claus on Christmas or something. I thought that's what she meant by Santa. La Santa Muerte, the Holy Death, is a powerful female folk saint and personification of death.
Not long after,
What?
Valeria will be killed. La Santa Muerte is the holy death, saint death, if you will, depending on who you ask. You know, they will either tell you she is a folk saint that you need to show respect to, or they will try to douse you with tap water because holy water is a little harder to get your hands on. Holy death is typically represented as a female skeleton. So it's a female skeleton in a long robe and she's holding a scythe, like a Grim Reaper almost, you know. Side note, the Catholic Church has basically denounced Saint Death, Holy Death, as being satanic, saying it's practically devil worship and Death is not a saint, so she technically is not considered a Catholic saint, but rather a folk Catholic saint, so kind of like folk religion. One person says, even though she's, you know, the Holy Death, it's actually a devotion to life when you worship the Holy Death. You're embodying who you are in life. That's the promise you're making, because we all meet the same fate one day, which is death. One person says, yes, okay, she represents death, but I would say she's an overall neutral entity. Some people do petition her for bad things, but just as many petition her for things like love and safety. One person says the whole appeal of worshiping, so like worshiping as in like having altars and praying to the Holy Death, and sometimes even performing ceremonies for the Holy Death. It can border on like the ritualistic side depending on how extreme and strange it gets, but that is applicable to pretty much any religion. They say the whole appeal of Holy Death is that she doesn't treat anyone differently. Technically, Holy Death is one of the most amoral saints out there. They just don't really, I mean, death comes for all. There's no discrimination. There's no avoiding it. They don't reward anyone because death is neutral. Death is everyone will face death. This can actually be quite attractive for those who feel European saints or even God might be judgmental to some degree. Naturally, holy death may attract criminals, but does also just attract normal people who feel like others are not fond of their prayers. Simply put, some see holy death as someone who, as long as you provide the right altar and you celebrate and worship her in a certain way, she's not going to judge you for your personal life when deciding to answer your prayers. One Redditor states, Santa Muerta worship was once only associated with criminals, but she now has followers all over the world. She also has a really big growing group of LGBTQ plus followers because she loves all without any judgment. I have a small...
We love the gays in Mexico. Let's go.
shrine of her in my group of LGBTQ plus followers because she loves all without any judgment. I have a small shrine of her in my house and I'm not a criminal. I don't know about this very specific individual, but if you happen to stumble upon an altar made for Saint Death, the Holy Death, typically you'll find cigarettes, flowers, fruit, incense, water, alcoholic beverages, coins, candy, candles. Oftentimes tobacco is used, and it makes sense because she's also known as the Lady of the Night. So people who work at night, taxi drivers, bar owners, police, soldiers, sex workers, they will often worship Holy Death to protect themselves from very violent deaths that happen at night. I will say there is some strong associations with the criminal underworld and Santa Muerte because Holy Death is worshipped heavily by many cartel members. And that association has only been growing stronger, so much so that the FBI put out a bulletin on it, which kind of reads more like a gossip page. I don't know why they wrote it like this. They were like, the cult appears to have more European than Aztec origins, with some individuals describing Santa Muerte as a new age Grim Reaper type goddess, a bad girl counterpart to the Virgin of Guadalupe.
What the fuck?
They-
The bad girl. She's the bad girl version of El Virgen de Guadalupe. Yeah. This is basically how they were headcanoning these folklore characters.
A bad girl counterpart to the Virgin of Guadalupe. They state that more and more cartel members have been worshiping Santa Muerte, which I guess is great intel for the FBI to have. However, they acknowledge that it's becoming increasingly disturbing, if you will. They say, with the stakes so high for cartel members and foot soldiers who probably know that they will die in a violent manner, with the stakes so high, the sacrifices and offerings to Santa Muerte have become barbaric. Rather than plates of food, beer, and tobacco in some instances, the heads of victims and presumably their souls have been served as offerings to invoke powerful petitions for divine intervention.
Oh, dude, so it's like a cult thing. They're literally looking at the Santa Muerte as like some god that they worship and that they sacrifice people to.
They say that when they busted a bunch of cartel hiding spots, the authorities, they had altars to Santa Muerte with narcotics, drugs smeared on the statues to help activate them, like make them come alive. It said one powerful criminal was killing virgins and babies once a year and offering them as sacrifices to Santa Muerte to gain favor and magical protection, and clearly it didn't work because he was arrested and then died in prison, which is a double whammy. Cartel members have used Holy Death against other rival cartels. In one instance, Gulf cartel enforcers captured Sinaloa cartel members, took them to a public Santa Muerte shrine, and executed them as offerings to the Holy Death. One neighbor who overheard another gang kill someone by lighting them on fire said they overheard that gang talk about how they had to make multiple human sacrifices, not just this one, because they were going to ask the Holy Death for, quote, something big. The FBI bulletin details additional incidents allegedly have occurred involving victims with their skin and hearts removed. Other cases have included individuals castrated and beheaded while alive, lit on fire and burned to death, and butchered and quartered. Sometimes authorities found only the victim's skin.
Dude, this is already disturbing, but like the cartels be doing this even without the weird cult god worship. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a video of how the cartel kills people. They already be on this type of timing. They already be on some crazy demonic shit without worshiping a demon. The way that they kill and dismember people is disgusting.
Sometimes authorities found only the victim's skin. Well, they don't find the bodies because they're thrown into a stew that is apparently called the stew. But translated to Spanish, it's a barrel filled with liquid fuel that is lit on fire. In another instance, investigators stumbled upon 11 headless bodies stacked on top of each other, and just outside they found 11 burn marks in a circle, like a cult-like circle. They presume and conclude that those were the decapitated heads that were burned in a ritual in a circle.
Somebody in chat said, yes, bro, my tío, aka my uncle, from my dad's side, literally got skinned alive by the cartel. It's so real. I really hope you're capping right now.
Investigators
Jesus.
were not
Rest in
certain
peace.
what type of ritual was performed until they found the perpetrators, raided their homes, and there were the Holy Death shrines. So for the sake of clarity, though, again, not everyone who worships Santa Muerte is a criminal with nefarious prayers. In fact, I think most are not. And Valeria has been open in different live streams about how she does worship the Holy Death. Valeria has, you know, like her relationship with Vivian, her friendship with Vivian is a huge point of contention online, even while Valeria was alive. So they would frequently live stream together, so you could see their in real time, authentic discussions and interactions. And Vivian is also kind of an influencer, but a much smaller one than Valeria. Some people think that Vivian was latching on to Valeria to get famous, but that's obviously, you know, thinking with a heavy dose of skepticism. In any case, Vivian says they've actually been friends since before Valeria got famous. Regardless, people have lots of thoughts and opinions about this friendship. Some people think that their friendship is kind of that sisterly love where they tease each other and they bully each other, but that's just how they communicate. Others think, no, Vivian is constantly saying things to get under Valeria's skin. Like you can just tell she's saying things and it seems like thinly veiled jealousy. Something you can even feel the jealousy from Vivian, like radiating off the screen when they're live streaming together.
this was before anything that happened. People already had this sentiment. Or?
Yes. So even before Valeria is killed, people are like, see, it's like half and half. Some people are like, I love their friendship. Others are saying, I don't know, their friendship is weird. But now that Valeria is gone, people have decided they believe the theory that Vivian wanted to live Valeria's life and that she was trying to destiny swap and take Valeria's life. But if this popular netizen theory is correct, what are their different trajectories? Like, what is the life that Vivian wanted that Valeria had? So much so that Valeria ends up dead and netizens think this is what happened. They seem to have very similar yet vastly different lives. Valeria starts modeling at 16 for clothing brands. By 21, she wins this beauty competition called Miss Face. It's a local Guadalajara beauty pageant, but after winning that means you can go compete on the state level. So Guadalajara is a city inside of Jalisco, the state. So she does participate in the running for Miss Jalisco in 2023. She does not win, which kind of kickstarts her influencer career. So even though she doesn't win, she won Miss Face of Guadalajara. So lots of like brands, they start reaching out to her. She starts modeling. There's a very well-known picture of her in medical scrubs. People actually say that she was a dentist and an influencer. It was actually a photo shoot for the brand. However, she was in school studying odontology at one point. So like dentistry at one point. So there's that. But her career starts really kicking off when she starts modeling for quinceanera dresses. You know, which some of the brands, they're selling these dresses for like $1,500. It's a huge market. It's almost like prom dresses. Like if you're modeling prom dresses, these are big name brands. They've been around a long time, household names. She starts gaining a lot of attention and she's very beautiful. I will say that she does look like a real life Barbie, but I think a lot of people were drawn to her personality. So our Spanish speaking researcher translated a lot of just like casual videos that have nothing to do with her passing. And I will say that she naturally does seem intimidating because she's very beautiful, but she also has a very strong personality. So she like voices out her thoughts very frequently, but everything she does also seems humble at the same time. I think
yeah, girls like that are scary to me. Like if you're already pretty, by default, you're a little intimidating. But if you're like that kind of blunt, strong personality, that kind of humor, man, I'm terrified of you.
But everything she does also seems humble at the same time. I think it's kind of like in Korea, we have a stereotype almost of like the aggressive 언니 that cares. It's like the aggressive older sister who is not going to sugarcoat it, but also like she's holding your hair back, she's giving you her favorite lipstick, and she takes care of you, but she's also calling you a dumb bitch because you were acting like one.
Whoa.
So she kind of has that personality. Like someone even asks her in her live stream in the comments, they're like, are you angry? And she responds, no, my love, why? So it's very like not, you know, she's not like, oh no, why would you think I'm angry? I'm not angry. She's just very blunt, straightforward. Someone will comment, do your pajamas smell bad? So this is supposed to imply that she only wears cheap clothes. And she immediately responds, no, but do you want to come smell it? You can even smell my ass if you want.
Oye, no huele feo tu pijama. ¿No quieres venir a olerla? Hasta del culo si quieres.
And she's still putting on her makeup. And it's just, okay, like for example, another live stream she has. She shows all of her makeup that she's using. She's like taking time and she's like telling everyone, take pictures because I'm not gonna show you, right? So she's like, okay, this lipstick is this color. This is this color. And she shows all her lipsticks. And then she finally gets to applying makeup and she reads a comment out loud and they're like, can we see your lipstick to take a picture? And she said, fucking bitch, the first thing I said was take pictures because I won't show them over and over again. This is the last time I show my lipsticks, okay? Anyone who asks me again, I'm gonna beat your ass.
She's just like me, bro.
Vienes para tomarles foto. Hijas de la chingada. Lo primero que les dije, tómenle foto porque no lo voy a estar enseñando. Es la última vez que enseño mis labiales, ¿ok?
And then she takes a
Bro, she's me. The way that she gets pissed off at her chat for asking shit, like, oh my god, that's me, bro. When y'all ask stupid questions repeatedly over and over, I'd be so mad at y'all. Like, oh my god.
Tus labiales para tomarles foto. Hijas de la chingada. Lo primero que les dije, tómenle foto porque no lo voy a estar enseñando. Es la última vez que enseño mis labiales, ¿ok?
And then she takes a long time calmly showing every single lipstick again. So it's like, you know, and maybe she's copying a trend where there was a trend where like a guy was selling purses and he would get upset when people wanted to see the purses up close. So like, but I don't know if she was copying that trend. It didn't seem like exactly. It just seems like she's kind of this, that was her way of humor. August 2024, she opens up her own business, the Blossom Beauty Lounge inside of a plaza. I did see people say that her salon is inside of a mall, which is not entirely false, but don't picture like an enclosed shopping mall where you walk through a giant building. It's a plaza that has a parking lot right in front. That will be important later. Salon was opened with her uncle from her mom's side. So he's a professional hairdresser. She frequently filmed with him. And the salon is full service. They do everything, hair, eyelashes, nails, eyebrows. The whole motto is, there is no better treatment than the time you dedicate to yourself. And so people would accuse her of flaunting on private planes and yachts and trying to show off a luxury lifestyle. And her salon is actually very welcoming and affordable. So for example, a manicure, and obviously it's going to sound a little bit more affordable if you're based in the US, and this is still affordable in Mexico, but a manicure would be $11 to $22. Women's haircuts, $7 to $35. Full tape and extensions, including the hair, starts at like $175, which is still pricey, yes, but extensions, including hair, can get incredibly expensive. A full 50-minute long lymphatic drainage massage to the face is $41. And I couldn't find specific information about the total employee count of everybody that works there, but you don't really need to know. All you need to know is she's the manager, social media marketer. Her uncle is also a manager, a co-manager, but he's the main hairdresser. So he's the one that does the hair. He's the hairstylist. Then you have Erica. Erica is the nail tech. She's going to be important later. And then you have another individual that does some of the other stuff like the eyelashes, the facials, but it's a very small group of people. As for Vivian, she doesn't have the most interesting life path that's occurring to her. When she was younger, she said that she was very rebellious in high school and that caused a bit of problems. She actually did, her first initial work was as an image girl for a club. And she describes it as, you get this club, a bunch of club promoters will recruit a bunch of girls to show up and they just hang out around the club. When guys walk by, they hear there's pretty girls in the club with the hopes of going home with one of them, which they're not going to because they're just like paid to be there. The guys will come, spend money on drinks, buy girls bottles, and then the girls come home and they do alternating days. So it's like if you went last Thursday, you can't come the next Thursday because like what if the same people are off on Thursdays? It's just a weird, she did image girl work before she was even legally allowed to enter a club, which is illegal, but you get the vibe.
It's Mexico, bro. Nobody gives a fuck. The police over there are so corrupt.
She meets Valeria through Instagram. They had a lot of friends and acquaintances that were the same, but they officially started talking through Instagram when they were both trying to just promote each other on Instagram. She said back then you would try to promote friends' accounts and then they would promote you and that's how you meet people and followers. They're 15. So they start doing, they start promoting each other on Instagram. They go to the club and she describes it. Vivian describes it as Valeria is the very confident, over the top personality, whereas Vivian is the very shy one. Vivian said she's basically an ice block. She was not opening up to anyone. She was very reserved and Valeria was the one that got her out of her shell. So Valeria meets her when she's 15 and she passes away when she's 23. I mean, that's a very long-standing friendship. You would say that they're best friends, right?
Oh, damn. She was only 23 when she died and they knew each other when she was 15. Oh, damn. Okay.
That's a very long-standing friendship. You would say that they're best friends, right? Vivian clarifies that they were not best friends throughout the entire timeline. They would have these like on and off moments in their friendship and most of that would occur when one of them would get into serious relationships. Because they just stop hanging out with friends, especially friends you go out to the clubs with, because now you're dating a guy and he probably doesn't want you to go to the clubs. And that's when they would have these little off moments. But it was never anything crazy. She says that she did meet Valeria's other partners, like ex-boyfriends. And I mean, she did find out that the ex-boyfriend cheated on her. And that was like a whole thing. But nothing crazy about them either. I mean, she says that there's really not much going on. In any case, when they were friendly though, they presented as like best friends. They would have sleepovers, they would hug, cuddle, give each other presents. Usually if Valeria is showing a friend on live stream or getting ready with a girlfriend and she pans the camera over, you can almost bet money that it's going to be Vivian. I mean, they're always together. They do a lot of girl talk live streams. In one live stream, Vivian is reading comments and someone asks her, "Do you have a boyfriend, Vivian?" She seems a little uncomfortable and this is like where people point out maybe there's tension. Valeria blurts out, "A husband."
Wow.
Vivian responds, "Well, something like that. I have it and another 7 have him as well."
Another 7 girls have him as well.
Yes, which Valeria seems annoyed, rolls her eyes, and blurts out like a slang word that I guess would be equivalent to the word that's been circulating a lot, which I know has been a word in, basically it's like a crumb eater. Like you just settle for anyone in a romantic relationship if they give you
Vivian?
crumbs. Yes, but it's not like the worst word to call someone. I guess.
That's just how they banter. Like,
Yeah.
oh, you're just, okay.
And it seems like Valeria is upset because she probably gave Vivian advice over and over again that you shouldn't put up with this type of behavior, and Vivian is still putting up with it. It seems like a sore spot, but that live stream has been analyzed to hell and back. In a controversial interview after Valeria's death, Vivian is asked if the two of them ever fought over guys, and Vivian says, no, they have completely different types of guys that they go for. And more on this later because it's very important. Some people speculate that Vivian has started dating one of Valeria's ex-boyfriends after Valeria's passing, but that is a rumor and we're going to get into it in a second. But
so this is where we're going to get into the possible jealousy where like Valeria seems to have the perfect life and then Vivian is like a fucking bitch. Like, ugh.
She says they've got completely different interests. Like they have 2 different types of people that they like. Vivian says that she likes more of a street style guy who is more dark skinned. And she says that Valeria likes a light skinned guy with like that buchona lifestyle, the more, that kind of look. But I don't know, people are skeptical about all of this. Anyways, they have had full-blown falling outs in their friendship. On Valeria's private chat, she once messaged the group of her followers, the personal girlfriends.
What's y'all's take on that, basically, on friendships falling out and then getting back together? To me, I don't think a true, like a best friend, I don't think you'll ever have like a falling out with. If you have a falling out with a friend, that friendship's not strong. Like that's not like a friendship you take to death. I don't know. I've never had something like that. Maybe that's unique as like a guy, like maybe men don't go through that as much as as girls do. But if I have a falling out with a guy friend, I'm probably never seeing that person again. And that's only happened to one of my friends before. We stopped talking and we've never talked again since. We've never talked again since. Because to me, it's like a friendship should be unbreakable. My two best friends that I'm still friends with since like middle school and high school, we've never had like a falling out ever. If that happens, we're just not going to talk again.
Viv doesn't want to be my friend anymore. She told me she doesn't want to talk to me anymore and to break up the friendship. She literally said that to me. A few days after that, she sends another message and says, we're back to being friends forever. So it's hard to tell if they're just being dramatic, but they did seem to have some sort of tumultuous friendship. During another live stream, Valeria is talking about a fight she and Vivian had where, a side note, the way she's talking about it is more so in like a, haha, like, isn't this so crazy, funny, crazy story time type of tone. I mean, they're both together in the live stream. So it's not a serious sit down of, let me tell you about the most toxic fight I've ever had with my best friend. It's like a very, like, can you believe this bitch? She says, this bitch grabbed me by my neck and she said, what's wrong with you? And I snapped back and people were shouting at us like, don't fight. Anyway, we were a little out of it. Vivian adds, it was all a misunderstanding.
No, fue una loqueada, una ondeadilla de pedo.
And they're both kind of giggling and both clarify it was just a crazy moment, a crazy little episode. They post another TikTok together after not posting each other for months. And the caption of that TikTok just reads, we're so pretty. It doesn't look like a few months ago we were fighting to the death.
That's an unstable friendship. Once damage like that is done to a friendship, I'm a believer that the friendship can't be the same again because that's like a scar that doesn't really go away.
Even before Valeria's death, people were going through live stream after live stream, just trying to point out odd moments because I mean, they go from being together 24/7 to all of a sudden Valeria stops answering questions about Vivian. She stops posting about Vivian. And then all of a sudden they're back to posting together. So people were naturally invested and had these, they wanted to know what was going on. You know, in one live stream, the two girls are drinking. Vivian is holding the camera, she's live streaming, but it's not obvious that she's on the phone. It just looks like it's propped up. And she doesn't announce it to anyone in the beginning of the live stream, like, I'm live streaming, or like, hey guys, look, we're live streaming, we're live. And Vivian says, we're having a little drink. You can hear Valeria's voice in the background. Her speech seems much slower than usual. It sounds like they just got home after a night out and she seems a bit drunk. And she asks Vivian, is that my phone? Vivian responds, obviously gorgeous. I started a live stream on your phone.
Es mi teléfono. Soy hermosa. Yo hice un live de tu teléfono.
Oh, wait, and that is weird. So Vivian right here started a stream randomly using Valeria's phone, and she's the popular one. Remember that. So she's doing that for clout, for the most amount of attention possible. That's weird. That's weird. I don't know.
Es mi teléfono. Soy hermosa.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
like, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, and then what's Valeria's reaction to that?
She just like kind of plays it off and they just keep live streaming. But I think for one, it's insane to take someone's phone and start live streaming. And then second, I think it's insane to live stream without telling people because like, what if she had taken off her shirt to change after a night out? Like, what if you'd never know?
Or like, what if she gave out her address or something, you know? Like,
In general,
in the
that's
house.
insane.
Yeah, just generally speaking, like it's just weird.
Yeah.
It almost seems kind of like a setup.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's odd. Other times she'll steal Valeria's phone while she's live streaming and then she'll be like, I'm gonna kidnap you now. And it's, so Valeria would start the live stream. But this is Valeria's account where Valeria has much more followers than Vivian does. And she's like, I'm gonna kidnap you now. And then she'll run with the camera and then Valeria is chasing after her. It just, I guess a lot of people see it as Vivian is trying to take Valeria's clout. I mean, that's such a weird word to use.
it's almost a metaphor. It's almost not poetic. What's the word for it? Foreshadowing and signaling how this girl, Vivian, wants to take the life of Valeria. Remember the whole destiny swapping thing about like stealing somebody's life so that you can be the famous one, you can be the popular one. Figuratively and literally, she's doing that by taking the phone away from her and hijacking the stream. It's a way for her to pretend to be her for a bit.
It just, I guess a lot of people see it as Vivian is trying to take Valeria's clout. I mean, that's such a weird word to use.
No. I see why people say that. Yeah.
I guess they're saying like, this is Valeria's Instagram and her live streams, but Vivian is trying to make it a her thing. Like she's the main character in Valeria's live streams. And it's done in a way where it doesn't feel natural. They're saying like, it doesn't feel like both of them are just engaging in a conversation. It just feels weird. In another clip that has since gone viral, making the rounds, you know, Valeria's live streaming in her house, getting ready. She looks to the side and she says, why the f are you coming into my house? I don't even get a notice, fucking bitch. And she continues doing her makeup and it's clear that she's just talking in a blunt way, but she's answering comments and she's like, yes, Vivian is here. I'm telling you, she walked into this house like it's her house, that bitch.
She was sick of her. There was definitely, it's obvious there was resentment at this point.
So, I mean, I don't know, maybe some friends, and like, maybe it's because I don't have like a crazy best friend that just like barges into my house, but I think it would throw me off. Okay, it wouldn't throw me off if someone shows up to my house and like a friend shows up unannounced, but it would throw me off if they ended up inside the house. And I'd be like,
Oh, yeah. That's what I meant too. Yeah.
I don't know. It just, but her reaction tells me it's a little weird.
Valeria thought it was weird.
Yes, because I imagine if it's a common thing between them, she'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, hey, you're back. Or like, hey, where were you? You know?
Basically, Vivian's crossing boundaries.
Because, like, that's scary. That's scary. Like, imagine you're in your house, right? It's one thing for your best friend to show up unannounced and knock on the door, and you're like, oh, who's that? But it's another thing to, like, so once again, imagine being in your house and you're hearing noises, like, downstairs, like in the kitchen, the fridge is opening, you're hearing dishes moving around. You're like, what the fuck? Like, who is that? And then you walk down and it's your best friend. That's still weird. I would not be happy about that. I would probably kick them out of anger.
Yeah, and I think Valeria is trying to set the boundary without being super firm, even though she has a firm personality.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. Some people thought it was normal between them. Some people thought it was a strange and toxic friendship. But does that mean that you could be a killer? A lot of people have noticed a lot of jealousy as well. Just looks-wise, people think that Vivian went to the doctor and showed them a picture of Valeria to tell them what she wanted to look like. The resemblance, I will say, is pretty striking. Neither of them have natural blonde hair, but Valeria has always been blonde. That has been her trademark. Not to say that anyone who is blonde is copying Valeria, but Vivian eventually decides that she's gonna go blonde, which is normally fine, but she also decides to get blue contact lenses, which Valeria has naturally blue eyes. And just the resemblance in the facial features, but more so than that, is eventually they start wearing similar looking outfits, but Vivian keeps posing like similar outfits, same pose as Valeria. So there's like a picture of them and the camera is angled upwards, so the camera is lower and they're both wearing this animal print looking.
Oh, hell no. This picture's enough for me to agree with the fact that she was copying her, that she wanted her life. It'd be one thing if it was just the dress, but she's also wearing the neck piece. Oh God, and then the angle too? I don't know, bro. That's weird.
With a little thin scarf with the same print. And it's like such a distinct picture angle and it's such a distinct top.
That's two separate photos, you're saying?
Yeah, so
But very
Valeria's went up
identical.
first and then Vivian's. And it just looks like the clothing is the same, the pose is the same, makeup is the same. It's just kind of like, so it's just a lot of similarities, which I mean, like, I do think best friends naturally have a lot of similarities because you start wearing similar clothing, you start adopting the same mannerisms, and I think that's completely normal. And I actually think it's kind of cute, but in this situation, it was kind of weird. It just felt like maybe she's copying her or trying to be her. And it's not just that, she keeps using Valeria's things. And it seems like Valeria is getting fed up. In one clip, Valeria's live streaming and she looks to the side and she shouts at Vivian, "You're gonna steal my panties again? Like, why don't you just bring your own, Vivian?" Vivian is like, "I forgot them, I'll buy you more."
That's weird. That's disgusting. Ew. That doesn't even sound sanitary. Using another girl's panties, like...
She like borrows Valeria's undies and Vivian is like, "I'll just buy you more." But Valeria's like, "No, because it's not about buying me more. It's about the fact that like, you're taking so many of them, I don't have any more undies in my drawer." Vivian walks up, hugs Valeria from behind, and Valeria pouts, "No, fuck off." And she's like, "I need black ones." And Valeria looks at her live stream comments and goes, "No, she doesn't give a fuck." Like, just saying, like, my friend is crazy. Like, she doesn't give a fuck. They start digging through the drawer, though, and Valeria picks up a gray pair of undies and is like, "This one's yours. All right, as long as they're not visible." And then Valeria eventually offers, "I also have a black one if you need." One person on Reddit says about destiny swapping in general, not in relation to this case. I'm gonna keep it real as a woo-woo girl. I don't believe in destiny swapping because I don't believe somebody can take what God has for you. And even if they get what they want, it will never be exactly what you had. Not only do I believe it doesn't work and it's incredibly complex to attempt, I also believe, you know, people describe destiny swapping for other things. Some people think it's like when your friend picks up style tips, or your friend is introducing you to a work opportunity, or your friend is introducing you to other things or doing things with you. People think those are examples of destiny swapping, but it's not. It's like someone trying to move into your life and replace you. It's like they're trying to steal your husband, your kids, your house, your job. It's not even like they like the clothes that you wear and they want to buy their own. They want to dress in your clothes. But is Vivian doing that? And is she the only suspect for who killed Valeria? Not really. There were rumors that Valeria is linked to various other people that could have had motive to kill, such as Francisco Alvarez Solario, the son of LR1. That's what they call him. That's his nickname. He is one of the most dangerous cartel leaders in the state of Jalisco.
Okay, so now we're being introduced to another possible suspect. But I must say, though, it is weird the level at which her friend, Vivian, was obsessed with being her, with like being like Valeria.
Francisco, the son, is often nicknamed Narco Jr. And there are pictures where people believe Valeria is with Narco Jr. and it seems that they broke up and not on good terms. And some people even suspect that Vivian is dating him now. It's such a mess. Valeria Marquez starts her last TikTok live stream May 13th, 2025. She's sitting inside her Blossom Beauty Lounge and it looks like she's near the receptionist desk, like she's behind it. And it's just like a green wall behind her. And mainly you just see Valeria in frame. You don't really see anything else. And it does appear to be somewhat of a slow day. Or perhaps it's close to closing time and they don't have a lot of walk-ins coming through. There is music playing in the back, but it's a salon. So it's not a club. You can hear Valeria. The music is very background noise. And then there's really not much else.
Hola guapa, hola mi amor.
She's wearing a tight pink bodysuit. This is very pertinent later. She's wearing white jeans. And the first 45 minutes of this live stream, it feels beyond ordinary. She's answering questions about her eyelash extensions. She's talking about how her head hurts a little bit. She has a headache.
Ay, me dolió muchísimo la cabeza.
The comments are asking her, are you gonna stay there all day? And she says, no. She plans on leaving soon. She says she's extremely tired, just not feeling great. It seems like very early on in the live stream, the last remaining client leaves. So it's just Valeria and one of her employees, Erica, in the entire salon. It's just two of them.
Is Erica in frame or no?
She comes in frame briefly, like her face is kind of here and there, but not really at all. And it seems like she's doing things in the background. So when she's even talking to Valeria, her voice will sound sometimes more distant, sometimes a little bit closer. She's just in that vicinity. Now, the question that people have is, okay, well, it's near closing time and you guys are both there. You don't have any clients and you're saying your head hurts. Why don't you just leave? Or like, why don't you leave it for Erica to close the store? Is that the best thing a boss can do? Probably not, but it would make sense. So it's just Valeria and her employee, Erica. Why are they not leaving? It just doesn't. It's kind of odd. To the point where comments are pointing that out, and Valeria responds, well, the only reason that she's not leaving and she's staying is because her employee Erica told her some delivery driver came by earlier today. So at this point, Valeria had stepped out to go to the doctor's office. Erica's alone, she's managing the salon, and a delivery driver comes up with this mysterious gift in a black bag, and he's like, this is for Valeria. Erica's like, okay, well, that's my boss, so I can just sign something, like you can just give it to me. She's about to be back in an hour. He says no. It's a very expensive delivery and I can only leave it with Valeria. But because Erica is like, okay, well, she's not here and she's gonna be back in like an hour, why don't you just come back in an hour? And he says, okay, I'll come back in an hour.
Oh shit. So Erica unknowingly just gave the information that the killer needed.
It's been way longer than an hour. So this is around 2:30. It's closer to 6 right now. Valeria is so confused by this. Like it seems that she was told by Erica all of this before she starts the TikTok live stream. And as she's explaining it to the comments of why she's staying, even though she has a headache, she's kind of confused.
Y yo, pues más o menos llego como en una hora. Y ya dijeron de que, no, es que mejor me espero a que llegue ella porque es muy costoso. A mí que me va a andar regalando algo.
As she's explaining it, she's
so she was okay. You guys can understand her. There were subtitles, but like I can also just tell you straight up what she was saying. She's confused. She's like, I didn't order anything. Like, who could have? I'm just confused. Like, who the fuck is there asking for me for a delivery?
As she's explaining it, she's also kind of confused, and she's asking like, Erica, do you know what the delivery was? Did he mention where it's from, who it's from? And Erica's like, I have no clue. I just knew it was in a black bag. I don't even know what was in there. Valeria's like, okay, well, I guess I have to wait. But I'm like falling asleep. Erica reassures her it was a black bag, but it was like one of those present, like gift bags.
Neta, me estoy quedando dormida, güey. Tengo mucho sueño. Hola, Valor, ¿no sabes, amor? Algo costoso y en una bolsa negra.
They get a little distracted with work stuff, and then Erica eventually brings up the topic of the present again. She says, they're making us get excited. Valeria, on the other hand,
she knew
seems a little
something
more
was
skeptical,
up.
And I don't know if this is just her blunt humor coming into play, but she says, dude, maybe they're gonna kill me.
Güey, a lo mejor me iban a matar, güey.
Dude, no way. She foreshadowed that herself. She foreshadowed it. She joked about it, but it ended up being true. Like, watch they kill me. Because like that stuff does happen a lot in Mexico. So the fact that she joked about it, it shows that like she knew that was a possibility.
Right after, she does keep dancing to the music, but her tone does seem a little concerned. And I don't know if all of this is in hindsight and I'm overthinking it, but it's just odd. Valeria reassures her viewers, no guys, it was just a present, but I don't know who sent it. It was like somewhat translucent, right? Like there was little stars on the bag. So she's like confirming with Erica off screen. Something expensive? Because it wasn't a delivery man. Like they would have left something if it was a delivery man, right? Like a regular delivery guy, like Amazon or UPS would probably just leave it. Valeria is confused by the whole thing, just repeating to herself, but if it wasn't a delivery man, then who?
Que no era un repartidor y luego quién?
23 minutes into the stream, Valeria gets a message from her best friend Vivian and announces it. She's like, oh, Vivian just texted me. And she's texting Vivian and they're talking about an upcoming surgery that Valeria has, like an elective surgery. As she's texting, she turns back to Erica and talks about the delivery again. And she's like, dude, I'm so worried. You said that you couldn't see his face? He was wearing something like, the motorcyclists wear, like a helmet thingy, but it didn't go over his whole head. And what did he say? That he was gonna come back in an hour? I don't know, I just saw him coming in here. Valeria looks at the camera with like big eyes, like, Like, you know, when you look at someone like, what does that mean?
Dude, she know that's chilling. That's pretty chilling, bro. Like, she knew something was up. Nah, bro. If the guy would have shown up, let's say 5 minutes later, I think she would have left herself. I think she would have been like, oh, hell no, I'm out of here. Like, this is way too weird. This is way too suspicious.
But she doesn't look scared. It's kind of more like, what? Like, you know that look.
Yeah, yeah.
And she responds, they're gonna snatch me or what?
Güey, me quedé preocupada.
She looks around, turns back to the live stream, and she's like telling her live stream comments, no, I don't know what's going on, but like, who could it be? Girls, I think I'm gonna go because I'm getting creeped out. She said she couldn't see his face, but it was a delivery man, but like not a delivery man, but a delivery man. 20 minutes before the killing, so 34 minutes and like 55 seconds into the live stream, Valeria announces that Vivian texted her that she needs to stay and wait because Vivian wants to see her face. Later, Vivian describes this as taken out of context.
Ooh, wait, that's weird. Vivian, her friend, told her that she has to stay? That's weird. Why is it in Vivian's interest that she stays to get the gift?
Because Vivian wants to see her face. Later, Vivian describes this as taken out of context, but we're gonna just go down with the live stream. Valeria drops her phone and shouts, hurry up, bitch, because I have to leave. Valeria says, what is this bitch gonna send me?
A que me espere, dice la Vivian, que porque quiere ver mi cara. ¡Rápido, pendeja, que me tengo que ir!
So now Vivian is saying, no, you have to wait because I want to see your face, not because of the mysterious delivery man, but because I've sent you a surprise.
What?
Yeah,
A separate one? Or-
separate.
Oh.
So Valeria's like, what is this bitch gonna send me? Dude, is she gonna send me some stupid shit? I swear. Erica says then the delivery driver would have just left it with her if it was something stupid. So like, there's like, I think everyone's miscommunicating here,
Right.
right? So Erica's like, no, I don't think the delivery driver was gonna leave you something stupid. And so Valeria's like, no, I mean Vivian, she's going to send me something too. Valeria says she's tired, she's sweating, she just wants to go home. Meanwhile, Erica clarifies she tried to take the gift from the guy, but he was intent that it had to be directly to Valeria. Then a male voice is in the background. Suddenly someone has entered the studio, someone walked in.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Valeria stands up and sits back down with a Starbucks bag, and she's very smiley. Vivian, dude, just say you're into me. She opens the bag, pulls out her very favorite Starbucks drink, which is a dragon fruit lemonade refresher.
Oh, so Vivian did get her something. Legit. So Vivian got her like some Starbucks. Okay.
She opens the bag, pulls out her very favorite Starbucks drink, which is a dragon fruit lemonade refresher. Then another male voice.
Hola, buenas tardes.
Valeria gets up, comes back into frame, and it's like a Miniso bag, you know, the Japanese.
Miniso?
Yeah, Miniso. She pops it open and opens a stuffed toy, like a little stuffed pig. Valeria's hugging it. She's screaming, it's a little pig. Dude, Vivian is in love with me, I swear. She starts
I
posing.
remember this little pig plushie. She dies with this, and people were making fan art of her holding the pig with angel wings because she's dead now. Yeah.
With the stuffed pig. It smells like ass, but I will ignore that. I love you, slut. Marry me. I love it. Vivian, like, do you want to be my girlfriend here in front of the audience? I have never confessed to anyone, but I think you're the love of my life. Like, we should date for real, dude. She reads the message from Vivian out loud. Because you're all pink today. She poses with her present and announces, I will stay until fucking 7 then because I'm a responsible boss. But tomorrow, I'm not gonna be here, so don't fuck with me. I'm just playing. I'll still come. So she's saying, I'm just kidding. I'm still gonna come into the salon.
No me lo mandó Vivian. Ella sabe lo que me gusta.
She starts going back to answering the live comments. Do you like women? No, but I feel like the love of my life is Vivian. I'm looking for a man, but men aren't worth shit. Girls are nicer, more thoughtful, so on. They go back to talking about the delivery man. Erica says the delivery man came around 2:30 p.m. And she's like, I told him that you'd be back in an hour, and now it's 6. Valeria goes back to reading comments. They should be here by now then. And she's like, exactly. So a comment is like, they should be here by now. And she's like, exactly. Could it be a fan? Maybe, but like, why wouldn't they just leave it? You know? Erica jokes, maybe he thought I was like a thief. Valeria turns to Erica, but was he a delivery man? Did he look like a delivery man or a bodyguard? No, a delivery man.
¿Parecía repartidor o escolta? No, repartidor.
Now, side note, a lot of influential people, politicians, wealthy businessmen, and high-up traffickers tend to have bodyguards in Mexico. So that was a very pertinent, relevant question. Valeria starts asking Erica questions. Was he small or tall? Medium, like my height. Who? I cannot think of anyone. Like, they would have told me that they're getting me a gift. She starts answering more comments. A delivery man would just leave it, the gift. Yeah, exactly. Does the stuffed animal have a GPS? Oh, no, this is sent by Vivian, dude. So they're like asking, oh, the stuffed animal, who is it sent by? Like, that's creepy. So her comments are getting a little skeptical too. And she's like, no, this is from Vivian. Dude, I don't know. Erica told me it was like a box or like a black gift bag with little stars. And it had something very expensive inside. So they wanted me to receive it and take a picture of me with the gift. But I have no idea who could have sent it. I'm not seeing someone. Like, I would say, oh, well, then the guy that I'm seeing probably sent it. But no, I don't know. This is creepy, right? He said he's gonna come back in an hour, 2:30 p.m. It's like now 6 p.m. Erica further clarifies, I was here. And he said, Valeria Marquez? And I said, yes. Like he thought it was me. And he doubted, like, she's not here. And I told him, no, but this is her business and you can leave it here. There's no problem. I can deliver it to her. And he said, I was told to take a picture with her with it. And I said, then wait for her, but I don't know when she's gonna get back, probably in an hour. And he said, well, because of the price, I can't just leave it with you. And I told him, well, if you want, I can call her. If she says you can leave it, you can probably leave it, right? And he's like, no, I'm gonna be back. And then finally, 55 minutes in, Valeria says, he's coming.
Ya viene.
So, the windows are glass in the salon, so she can see a man approaching, and Erica must recognize the guy because she chimes in, oh, yes. Because if it wasn't the same delivery guy, she wouldn't have said that. You hear a male voice in the background, very calm, like very cheery almost, hello. And Vivian responds, hello. The delivery man sounds friendly, and he asks, Valeria Marquez? Yes.
Hola. Sí.
Valeria leans forward, mutes the live stream, and a few seconds later, you see her holding her stomach with her mouth open. You don't see a lot of blood. It's almost like she had a stomach cramp hit. Like, it's almost, I don't know, if maybe, like if someone hit her in the stomach with something, like it's a shock
So this is the moment. Yeah, this is the moment she was assassinated.
face, but almost calm in the sense of you don't see anything visually. She has been shot. There's not a lot of blood. The bullet seems oddly small. You almost don't even see it in the live stream. And then you do because she's shot twice in the head. Again, it's a small bullet. There's not a lot of blood, but you can see her body fall forward. You can see her body go limp. Her face is covered by her hair. She's slightly out of frame. I mean, not much. Her face is out of frame, but her whole body is in frame because she's still live streaming. She's clutching the stuffed pig, and it almost is like her body goes rigid. And within seconds, you see the phone camera get pointed towards the ceiling, and you see the employee, Erica, turn off the live stream.
What?
Now, this whole thing is muted, so we don't know if the delivery man said anything else to Valeria before or whilst or after shooting her, or what Erica's reaction was because it's muted. But her face, I mean, she's not screaming. It seems like her face is almost like determined. I don't know how to describe her face. Other people have said she looks indifferent, casual.
That is weird. I remember this now. Yeah, Erica, the nail tech, the employee, she's not shocked. She's not hysterical. She just witnessed her boss die, get shot in front of him. I mean, in front of her. And she's like, look, she's like dialed in. She's focused. She's like, it's almost like she's completing a mission.
Determined. Like, those are the words that are most frequently used to describe her expression.
That's crazy. But the employee was there watching the whole thing, and nothing happened to her.
That's the big point of contention in a moment. All the police know right off the bat is that this must be a contract killing. The delivery man, yes, he is the one that pulls the trigger. He is the one that physically kills Valeria, and he, of course, needs to be arrested. However, it's very clear that someone hired him to do this. He has no relation with Valeria. He's here for a target. It seems like he came back to make sure it's Valeria. Like, this is just a job to him. He's clearly been paid to fulfill an order. But who is the one that ordered it?
I think it has to be Vivian.
Because they're wondering why.
That's gotta be Vivian.
Is turn off the camera. It doesn't make sense. She would also technically, I mean, just statistically, she would probably be dead too. Because a lot of the times if you're this ballsy to take out an influencer who's live streaming on TikTok with a lot of fans that are watching, you probably don't care to also kill her employee just so you leave no witnesses. So
And his face was not fully covered, right?
You don't see him on camera though, but not
Right.
fully covered.
But
Erica
the-
would have seen.
Right.
Yes.
Erica earlier said that he was wearing like a helmet, but not fully covering the face. So she could kind of identify him.
Yeah. And she could probably identify his motorcycle or like, I'm assuming he walked in with certain.
Omar, do you remember the theory on why they gave her the stuffed pig? No. What's the theory? It was to mark her so they know who to shoot. Oh, wait, that's kind of smart from the killer's perspective, because that's easy to spot, that's very easy to identify her. When the killer comes, just look for a woman holding the pink pig, and that's her. That's your target. Like, ooh, wow.
Would she not have been dead too? Not that people are wishing that an additional person would have died, but it just didn't make any sense. On top of the fact that she looked really calm. A lot of people are saying, put yourself in that position. If you are Erica and you don't know if you're next, you're not ending a live stream, you're begging for your life, you're screaming, you're taking cover, you're doing something. Like, the live stream is the last thing that would be on your mind if you're Erica. One person theorizes if Erica hadn't set up Valeria, she would have gotten killed too. It just doesn't make sense because who's going to let a witness live? They both would have been killed. I think the hard part is a lot of people think Erica is suspicious and they think that she may have been in on it. Maybe she didn't know what was going to happen. Maybe she was paid to keep her boss all day. Maybe she thought it was going to be something good. Like, she genuinely thought her boss was going to get a cute surprise. No one knows, right? But they don't think that she's the one that would have all this incentive to want Valeria dead.
No motive.
No motive. But then, like, who does?
But did she talk? Did she?
Only to the police.
Okay, so do we know the version?
No.
Really? So when she turned off the live, we're assuming that's after the hitman has left.
or
Or
is in
we
the
don't know.
process of walking out. But it seems pretty fast. We
It was
don't know,
quick.
but it was pretty fast. It's hard to give you an exact timeline because, yeah, it was pretty fast.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird.
All we have are like re-uploaded clips, and I probably wouldn't advise you trying to hunt down the clip. Most of the clips have cut out the part where after she mutes it, the clip ends. So it's hard to say if there was any altering of the facts, but it seemed pretty quick. And I guess you can't rule out an obsessed fan or a stalker or some sort of admirer, but this does feel a lot more personal than that. So the people's next best guess on the internet is maybe it's Vivian, the only other person that was interacting with Valeria during this live stream that has maybe some sort of motive. Vivian is the friend that people thought was jealous of Valeria this entire time. One person comments, "My parents always warned me jealousy can be deadly." Another writes, "Once all the signs add up to jealousy, I'm out because you never know what happens." People also point out that Vivian kept telling Valeria to stay because she wanted her to get her gifts and wanted to see her reactions to said gifts. But Vivian says, you guys are taking it all just out of context. She explains later in an interview, this is after Valeria's death. She says, "I always give Valeria gifts. Like when Valeria's live streaming, I'm always sending her gifts, specifically like through Uber Eats." So in a different live stream, you know, Valeria is reading her comments and Vivian is telling her to eat something. Eventually there's a knock on the door. Valeria looks shocked, but like not in a bad way. She says, "I didn't order anything. It's for Valeria Marquez." "Me? I didn't order anything." She takes the bag and she's like, "Who the hell is this from? Is this Vivian? It's a dragon fruit refresher from Starbucks. It's my favorite. Then that means it's from Vivian. Fuck me if it's not from Vivian." Vivian texts Valeria, "From who else could it be?" Valeria laughs, and in other clips, Vivian and Valeria are both live streaming together, getting ready to go out. Valeria's at home, Vivian's at home, Vivian's about to go to Valeria's, and she's like, "I'm gonna pick you up Starbucks on the way." And they both kind of do like this baby voice with each other.
¿Crees que te llevo un Starbucks?
Other videos show Valeria showing off a bouquet of flowers she got from Vivian. And Vivian just describes, you know, with my close friends, the friends that I truly love, I'm always really thoughtful. Like my way of showing love is through gifts. So I always try to shower Valeria, like whether it's stuffed animals because she loves stuffed animals a lot, or with flowers because she also loved flowers. She loved being given flowers. I would send it to her simply because seeing her happy came naturally to me. Seeing how excited she got like a little girl when she received things was more than enough for me. Like I always gave Valeria gifts. I always showered Valeria in gifts. The interviewer asks her, "How frequently did you give her presents?" I mean, I can't tell you. It was kind of like a regular thing. Only when I felt like giving her the gift, I would give it to her. I mean, I literally almost always gave it to her when I saw her in live so that I could see her reaction when we weren't together, you know? Because a lot of the times we were also together, so... She says that recently Valeria was having problems with her ex, so I just wanted to cheer her up, send her food, flowers, stuffed animals. But a lot of netizens are saying it just feels so convenient. Also, the fact that Vivian loved to be around Valeria when she's live streaming, but conveniently the day that she passes, she's not there. There are other people who also think it's odd that she sent her a pig and then she ended up dying in the same live stream. It almost feels like when you factor in what netizens believe to be this obsessive jealousy, it feels almost like a humiliation tactic. And the fact that she was watching, it just feels like she wanted to see this happen.
Yeah, like that whole thing about Vivian saying, "Oh no, stay there, Valeria. I want to see your face." It really did feel like Vivian wanted her to stay, not just to die, but to see her face when she died.
Is what people are speculating. Now, Vivian says in a later interview, that's just couldn't be further from the truth. That's not, it doesn't make sense. She said she's watching the live stream because, quote, "I was at home." And because I was watching her live, I mean, I watched her in the background on my phone and I had her voice in the background just listening to her. If she said something that involved me or that I wanted to give an opinion on, that's when I would send her a message and send her a direct message on my phone. She says, I didn't feel like anything strange in that live stream. I mean, as I told you, that I had it in the background. Like there were times that I concentrated a lot on what I was watching on the phone, or sometimes I would do other things and I would stop listening to her. I mean, I stopped paying attention to what she was saying and then I would reconnect. And I was always watching Val's lives because it was just very entertaining. Like she's very funny, so I always watched her lives. She said she was interested in what present she was going to get. She says, I mean, of course I was curious to know what they were going to give her because normally the gifts they sent her were always left right away. So if there's flowers, people leave them. If there's other things, they leave them. So it's just intriguing. She says about the moment that her friend passes, quote, "So at that moment when that happened with Val, I even thought that they had like thrown confetti poppers or something at her because I saw her kind of duck. And then she went off to one side. Like I didn't really grasp what was happening until I saw that she literally was almost collapsing onto the table." She said that she had the live stream minimized to a small corner on her phone, so she's doing other things. So when I saw that she kind of ducked, I said, "Oh, they threw confetti at her." And then I zoomed in to show the full screen, and that's when I saw she was already with her hair covered to the side. So I didn't understand what had happened until I saw that she literally started falling on the table. So logically, I got very worried. I immediately got up. I called her uncles because her uncles weren't at the salon at the time. I don't remember why they weren't there. So I called them. I told them that I think something happened to her. I mean, that I wasn't very sure because it wasn't very clear, but logically at the moment I didn't see it like I did later after watching all the videos properly. At the moment I didn't see it clearly, so I just said something happened. She said she saw some live stream comment saying Valeria had been shot, and she was screaming at, like, you know, telling the uncles, like, "What do you mean she's been shot?" Like, that's when I started freaking out. She's calling the uncles and getting ready. She's out the door and going to the salon. She says by the time she gets there, another one of their friends had been watching the live and rushed over. We were both in shock. We just hugged each other. I mean, we couldn't believe what was happening. We were so angry because, of course, they couldn't let us into the salon. I couldn't see Val. I mean, they had put up the tape by this point, but I was just in a moment of shock. I was in denial. I didn't believe something had happened to her. I was simply completely in shock. Everything was closed off. I mean, they only let immediate family in, logically, right? I don't know any other way to express what I was feeling, because at that moment, tears would not come to me. I was in shock. I mean,
Yeah, she doesn't look sad. And I get it. Like, tragedy can hit people different. Like, some people process trauma differently. I don't know, man. I really just do find Vivian highly suspicious.
I didn't want to accept it. When I was in the Uber, I didn't want to accept it. I was very sad. I was very confused. I just wanted to get there and see her. I mean, I wanted to get there and see how she was, because my brain couldn't process that she was no longer there. She says that she doesn't like that people have made her out to be this jealous friend when she's mourning and grieving the loss of her best friend. She says people have concocted these crazy theories in their minds about her being a jealous killer. And she says even about like her trying to look like Valeria, she says, I never tried to look like Valeria. I always had my own style, my essence. I had always wanted to be blonde since I was little. Even at like 15, 16 was the first time that I did try to style and like lighten my hair, but obviously since I was with my mom, she was the one who paid for it, so I couldn't maintain it. So that's how I dyed my hair black again. I always liked blonde hair, always. I even like how it lights up my face. Like, I like how it looks on me. I mean, it's a matter of like, I like how blonde looks on me more than I like how black looks on me. But that also has to do with the fact that I haven't seen myself recently with black hair, because I haven't tried it in a while. I've always admired Valeria, but it was never a thing of me like wanting to look like her. I've always been very present in who I am, and I've never looked at other paths. I wasn't envious of her. I didn't want to look like her. I thought that she and I had very, we were very clear to each other and very pretty in our own ways. And if I used contact lenses or if I became blonder, it was just because I liked it, because I always knew what I am and what I like. I love contact lenses. I don't only have blue contact lenses. I have brown, green, gray. I mean, I use all of them. It's just that in most photos, unfortunately, I appeared with blue contact lenses.
That sounds like a lot of cope. That sounds like a person that's trying really hard to sweep for themselves, to save them. Yeah, I don't know.
Clothes and the rumors of destiny swapping. She says, yes, I took her clothes. Of course, between friends, you lend each other clothes. I also lent her clothes of mine, and we also bought from the same boutiques. It doesn't make sense. As for all their recent fights that Valeria was sharing on TikTok, she says, I mean, there was a fight over a guy issue. Okay, so there was this other friend who was hanging out with all of us, and that friend thought Valeria was hitting on the guy that she liked. So there was this whole mess where they started to tell each other, just insulting each other, and I was present because I was there, and I didn't take a side. I didn't take a side with Valeria. I didn't take a side with anybody. And then I still remained friendly with the other friend, and that's kind of like how it all happened. And she says, but it's interesting because Valeria was on live for about 55 minutes, and Vivian's orders match up closer to when Valeria is killed. So it's almost like 3 orders come back to back: the Starbucks drink, the little pig, and then the delivery man that kills Valeria. People found that timing suspicious. And she says, I mean, I ordered both through Uber Eats. Like, you can see that.
Suspicious as like, why does it line up so perfectly like around the same time?
Is what people are saying, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, I get it was supposedly a regular thing that Vivian would do for Valeria. It wasn't even just like the one Starbucks order. It was the random pig. That's what makes it over the top for me. She already had a history of ordering Starbucks for Valeria, but the pig too? Why the urgency with wanting to keep her there?
But some people think it's like her way of making Valeria just more obligated to stay and wait for the execution. I guess some people are saying like, well, hypothetically, if I were the one calling the hit and the delivery man is like telling me they're nearby, I would send her something to make her stay a little longer, distract her, because I guess maybe as time goes on, you can see Valeria is getting more and more over it, and she's just like, okay, like I don't even really care at this point. So it could be that. But Vivian says Valeria is not that type. She says in an interview, and obviously this is something that benefits her, so I guess you could take it how you will, but she says that Valeria is not the type that would ever stay just because of any sort of gifts. Whether it be Vivian's gifts or an expensive gift, she says, quote, because Valeria, if she really had felt in danger, even if I told her to stay, she would have left. Like, she simply just would have left. She wouldn't have listened to anybody. She wouldn't have listened to me. She wouldn't have listened to anyone. I mean, if she felt like she wasn't safe or that something bad was going to happen to her, she would have left. I know what you're thinking, which is kind of irrelevant. Yeah. And she's like, but I think that she was just more intrigued by the gift than anything. Like, she was confused about knowing who it was from and what the gift was.
No, bitch. Vivian, she's a stupid bitch. You tried to keep her there. If she wanted to leave, if she really felt in trouble, she would have left. But you were acting as an extra barrier, keeping her there. You were low-key making her feel bad, like, hey, no, don't leave. I'm ordering you something. If you leave now, you made me waste my money. She's not literally doing this, but it is giving off victim blaming, where it's like, I mean, she didn't leave. If she really felt in trouble or like she really felt in danger, she would have left. But how are you gonna say that when you were acting as one of the factors that was keeping her there?
Others say, you know how Erica had briefly mentioned in the live stream, like they said Valeria Marquez, and she was like, yeah. They're like, Valeria? And then she's like, well, this is like my boss's salon. She stepped out. Do you recall that in the live stream? So that's where people are like, it's interesting that you bought her a stuffed pig because she was holding onto it during the live. And now it's very easy to identify because you would tell someone who doesn't know the difference between the two girls, hey, it's the one holding the stuffed pig.
That's crazy. Wow.
I guess people are saying it's just such a random gift. But Vivian is saying, well, no, I got a stuffed pig for her because I just wanted to make her feel better. I wanted to get her flowers, but they wouldn't deliver in time. And the stuffed pig was pink and she was wearing all pink. So that's why I coordinated it like that. Now, aside from Vivian, there is another suspect the internet has their eyes on. So they're not just like honed in on Vivian. It's the cartels. Valeria is based in Guadalajara, which is where one of the more powerful criminal organizations is based, CJNG, Cartel Jalisco Nueva Generation, the new generation of Cartel Jalisco. And she was suspected to have been dating R1's son. Now, R1, whose real name is Ramon Angel Alvarez Ayala, is the leader of one of the subunits of CJNG. So this is like a top dog. I wouldn't say he's the toppest, you know, like he's at the top, but he runs one of the subunits. And I've heard he is in charge of the subunit that handles taking people out. So it seems like a very violent subunit. So cartels their structure is interesting. So they have subunits that are dedicated just like violence and enforcement. And then obviously they have different subunits that are more for the trafficking purposes, right? But he's like the head of a very violent subunit. He's also been linked to the murder of Carlos Manzo, who is the former mayor of Uruapan. And people say that he was killed because he was not bending to the demands of the cartels. Now, Valeria was allegedly dating his son, Francisco, who is nicknamed Narco Jr. They had seemingly a nasty breakup, which is all but confirmed with the recent arrest in this case. So recently in Mexico, R1, the dad, was arrested on suspicion of murder of the former mayor as well as influencer Valeria Marquez.
Really?
Yeah, I know. People were so shocked.
Really? They
Yeah.
cracked down that hard?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Authorities were stating R1's son was in a romantic relationship with Valeria. He had already threatened her on several occasions, and everything indicates that the son asked his father, R1, to commit the femicide.
Femicide.
The son, Francisco Narco Jr., has not been found yet. Authorities
Dude, wait, that is fishy. That makes me rethink things a little bit about Vivian. Like, maybe it truly wasn't Vivian, because that's weird that they haven't been able to locate the ex-boyfriend, you know?
But why would R1's son ask his dad to help him kill his ex-girlfriend? I'm not
just
doubting
gone.
it. I'm not
He just-
saying like, oh, but why would he,
He
right?
just
I'm saying,
vanished.
like, is there a reason? Because a lot of people are saying being entangled in the cartel life is incredibly dangerous, but you would imagine that it's impossible for these cartel higher-ups to kill every single person that they've ever been romantically involved with, and then to do it in such a public scale and in a way that a lot of psychologists believe is humiliating. To do it in the midst of a TikTok live stream for the world to see, there is a humiliation aspect.
But it
There
also
is a power.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like a message almost.
Yeah, and it's like and it's dangerous because it does put a target on your back for authorities too, because there's more pressure for them to solve the case. So a lot of people think, well, maybe Valeria knew too much about the organization, but some people think it's weird. And I say maybe it's a potential motive, not as justification for murder, but just as people are trying to figure out why Valeria. In one live stream, Valeria says about her ex, do you know what he told me? That I was already used. And that he didn't like women who'd been with a lot of guys, that a lady doesn't go from bed to bed, and that I was one of those women. He told me he was disgusted by me knowing how many men I'd slept with, that I wasn't good enough to introduce to his friends, that how could he give me his last name if I had already been recycled?
Holy.
And there I was, believing he loved me, putting up with his insults, his control, even his stupid jealousy. Also, he could treat me like trash.
Holy fuck, holy brutal ass boyfriend.
¿Sabes lo que me dijo? Que yo ya estaba muy usada, hasta sus celos estúpidos y todo para que al final me tratara como si fuera basura.
Some people think that Valeria was getting fed up and she was perhaps disclosing too much information. Allegedly, days before her death, she posted an Instagram story showing bruises on her legs, and she wrote, "It was my partner with whom I lived with. That's why I say he is my ex. And I make that person responsible for anything that might happen to me and my family, even if I have to leave the city."
Oh shit, wait. Oh my god, wait, we could have used this at the beginning. Oh dude, wait, yeah, I think it was this dude. Vivian might be in the clear. This is, wait, with this context now, that she was suffering some abuse from the ex? Oh dude. Oh fuck.
She even wrote in her private broadcast, "Don't break my heart anymore because I will actually die this time." Then another one that reads right after, "Why are people so fucking stupid?" Another circulating screenshot is Valeria had shared the screenshot of how she allegedly got kicked out of a club and the security guards assaulted her, leaving her covered in bruises, and it was all her ex's fault. So apparently the caption of that story that has since been deleted reads, "My ex didn't like me being here to have fun, and the security guards told me, please leave because you don't know what he's like. I don't want to get in trouble with him." And they like dragged her out of there, and she was covered in bruises. So it does indicate that she was dating someone who had a lot of power and they were scared. There was also another screenshot that she shared where it's text messages between her and her ex-boyfriend, which people think is Francisco, and he's telling her, "I've never showed you the other side of me, like you don't want to mess with me." And she was wondering if that was a threat.
I see.
A lot of people, though, I will say, are relieved and happy that there is like a step closer to justice. Okay, happy is a crazy word. Relieved and grateful that there is a step closer to justice. One person comments, finally, but also you can arrest her friend who set her up. So people are happy, but they also think that Vivian was still involved. Like the cartel and Vivian theories were not separate from each other. The new internet theory is that Valeria's ex-boyfriend, Narco Jr., had Vivian's help in making sure Valeria stayed. And a lot of those people think that Vivian also recruited Erica to help as well. Some of the other people are just indifferent to Erica, but people speculate that Vivian's new boyfriend is Narco Jr., Valeria's ex-boyfriend.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So Vivian might have gotten with Valeria's ex-boyfriend. The ex-boyfriend, by the way, was abusing and hated Valeria. And then they concocted this plan, or maybe he concocted the plan, got Vivian to help him, and then Vivian also got the nail tech, aka Erica, to somewhat be of assistance to try and keep Valeria in the nail salon for her to die.
And that perhaps they'd even been dating prior to all of this, prior to Valeria being killed. There were some people who like really, with cases where there's lots of internet conspiracy theories, it does take me a lot of time to try and step back, because it's very natural once you start reading the same theory over and over again to kind of slip into it and say, you know what, that does kind of make sense. And then you have to take a step back to be like, okay, am I saying that because I've read so many forums that sound convincing, or is there maybe any truth to it? So I really don't know. And this is a case where it just keeps spiraling. And I'm like, on one hand, I could kind of see it. On the other hand, it sounds crazy, but maybe it's not. Some people are saying like even Vivian taking Valeria's underwear, she could have been going behind Valeria's back, sleeping with Francisco. And that could have been a very like, haha, I'm wearing your girlfriend's underwear, my best friend, while we're sleeping together. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then sending her the pig. People are speculating if she was in on it and she wanted Valeria out of the picture so she could have Francisco to herself. The pig could have also been some sort of inside joke between her and Francisco, or just another humiliating aspect to add to all of this.
It's a big theory, this is, for Vivian?
So yes, these are the people who are fleshing out the theories, but I would say a lot of people think that she's involved, even after the arrest of R1. So no one is like, oh, no, we knew it was the cartel. Like, we probably knew an ex-boyfriend was involved, but we still think Vivian is involved. I would say that's a huge internet sentiment right now. But there's just like no proof other than a few faceless pictures of Vivian and, well, a picture of Vivian hugging a guy who is faceless that people just assume is Francisco. So there's really no proof. And they think that reason just makes sense.
That doesn't even look like Francisco. It doesn't look like the same hair.
And okay, so that same interview that she does after Valeria's death, she's asked about her own cosmetic procedures and like what she plans in the future for getting more work done. And the interviewer is like, what do you do for work right now? And she says, right now I don't work. Then how do you pay for your surgeries? She says, I can't comment on that.
Ooh,
and she's also, people think it's weird that she's defending Erica. So people are like, imagine the friendship that Vivian and Valeria had. If it's true, both parties, you know, like if Vivian thought of Valeria the way Valeria thought of Vivian. If my friend was killed on live stream and the only other person was her employee there, and she turned off that live stream in that manner, I'm gonna have my strong suspicions.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be at least even favorable of that person, right?
True. Wait, true. If your best friend, supposedly your best friend, was murdered on a fucking live stream and you see their employee take the camera, not even cry, not even look shocked, not even look scared, turn off the live stream, like that's the last thing you see. Oh, hell no. I'm flipping out, bro. I'm going like, hey, I'm questioning the nail tech. So yeah, the fact that she's like so quick to defend that employee, that's weird, man. That's not normal. Yeah, no, Vivian was for sure involved in this.
It would have to take a long conversation with this individual to even have some sort of, basically what Erica has come out to say was she didn't want her boss to be shown to the world in that state.
So she did come out to say what happened.
That was it.
Oh.
She said, I just ended it because I didn't want my boss to be shown in that state to her followers. But it was just the quickness in which she ended it. People are like, no, it makes sense. But it's the fact that that was like one of the first things you did.
Right.
You know, it's kind of, it just doesn't make sense with all the adrenaline going on with all of this. And like maybe the killer is still there, or at least he's in the vicinity, and you're just turning off the live stream. Doesn't make any sense. It seems like something that you would do after step 1, step 2, step 3. So that was just Erica's explanation. She doesn't further elaborate. That's it. Vivian, however, defends Erica in that interview, saying, later when I saw her reaction of the clip, it seemed to me more like a reaction that in the beginning she didn't want Valeria to be vulnerable. You know, the same thing is happening to me where they're crucifying her simply for ending a live stream. I mean, I don't have an opinion on that because in reality, I don't know her. I mean, I don't know her deeply, but if she's in the same situation as me, you know, where people are accusing her of things, well, I send her lots of strength, and don't let yourself be brought down by the bad comments. At the end of the day, she knows the relationship that she had with Val, and that's what matters.
She's not, that's suspicious as fuck. That's way too gracious. Like, at least question her. Again, if you're truly her best friend, you're gonna be like, oh, that's weird. Oh, who's that person? Let me ask Erica what the fuck she knew. The fact that she's just so cold about it, like so dismissive, like, oh, I don't know. Only Erica knows her relationship with Valeria. That's all that matters, you know? And if she's being accused, then I wish her the best of luck because I'm also being accused. Motherfucker, if that was truly your best friend, that you had nothing to do with her dying, like, you would be like, people are blaming me, sure, but like, we gotta look at this Erica girl. Like, I just lost my best friend. I want to fucking find out what the fuck happened, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a red flag ass answer.
I hope that her loved ones and her friends are surrounding her with lots of love. People thought that was weird because you're Valeria's friend, best friend since like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did she ever say who she thought?
And the reason why she's probably doing that is because, once again, Erica was on her team. If Erica gets in trouble, then Vivian gets in trouble.
Did this?
No. Yeah, she also, when she's asked, like, was Valeria dating members of the cartel? And she says she wasn't dating anyone that would bring any trouble.
See, she clearly knows more than, at that
Yeah.
point, and she's, then if she's not being transparent about some aspect, then people's going to assume you're lying about more things.
So I think it's just a matter of, do people think she's lying because you don't want the cartel on your back? Because to be like, oh yeah, no, she was dating a cartel member. Obviously, the cartel is not going to take that nicely. They're not going to just be like, oh, okay, do your little live streams and interviews. Or is it the fact that she has further incentive to protect that information?
Yeah.
She says, for all the people who are coming up with rumors about her, quote, broaden your minds a little more. Don't get carried away by all the things you see on the internet. Don't get carried away because people simply have a certain number of followers and they are already judge and jury to say who is guilty and who is not when the evidence they have isn't even real, it's fabricated. But some people think even that is shady. People are like, you've never once demanded justice for your friend. Like, you're not going around trying to get answers. You're just more so being like, hey guys, don't believe everything you hear when your friend is dead. Vivian has also started fighting back in the comments. One person had commented on her profile, free me from friends like you. And she responds, I don't think you have any friends. When someone asks her why she told Valeria to stay, she responds, yes, dude, I told her to stay, but for my gifts only. I never told her to stay the whole time. And then she gets frustrated and she says, just go watch the full live stream, dude. I mean,
Tú le dijiste que se quedara. Sí, güey, yo le dije que se quedara, pero a mis regalos, nada más. Yo nunca le dije que se quedara de que todo el tiempo.
Like, look at how she's addressing these questions, these suspicions towards her. I don't know. The reaction just doesn't scream like it's offensive that you're even suspecting these things about my best friend, about what I would do to my best friend. Are you kidding me? She's more focused about clearing her name than she is about like proving that she's distraught about the loss of her best friend.
now, as of right now, it appears that the authorities are searching for Narco Jr. I don't know if they're gonna find him. Probably not. I also think, and I say this as like a place from anger, not a place of just like stating the facts, right? But I do wonder if R1 had not also killed the former mayor, if he wouldn't have been arrested. If it was just the death of a woman, I don't know if he would have been arrested. But I think maybe it's like, okay, we wanted to get him down for killing the mayor, but now we can also get some good standing with the community because we can make it about Valeria. Because, a lot of that, so many people are shocked that they arrested someone in the first place. And that means that usually authorities don't care when a woman is murdered.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody in chat said it even better than I did. She's acting like a criminal in an interrogation room. She's defensive and she seems annoyed. Yeah, rather than like expressing concern and like, dude, like what? Like, why do y'all keep asking me about this? She was my best friend. I loved her. Like, her reaction, the way that she was very coldly addressing the suspicions, it just gave off like she's guilty.
So I don't know if they're searching for Narco Jr. I don't know if they're going to find him. Maybe they're investigating if any of Valeria's friends have anything to do with this. I'm not sure. One person writes, honestly, I'm just surprised she's getting any justice. Another person comments, I hate that pig plushie. It was so symbolic and it broke my heart how she hugged it as she died. And what's crazy is a lot of people still blame Valeria for her own murder. One comment reads, I had my suspicions. It's so sad that they end up like this because they just want an easy life. Another responds, she had it coming. She knew what she was getting involved with. She looked for her own death. God gives you free will on the path that you choose to take. Rest in peace. Someone else comments, not everything that shines is gold. They get involved with criminals and then they don't like it anymore. People have been generating like AI generated images of her holding a plushie, and they write in the words, this happened to me for being a whore. Work so you don't think you can go around being a whore and get money from a drug trafficker and then leave him as if nothing happened.
Oh, cringe. They even made her AI. Why would they do this to her? Like AI her. And then yeah, like they're all like victim blaming her. This happened to me for being a whore. This AI post is basically mocking her death.
Which is already a dumb, despicable message, but it makes even less sense when you realize that Valeria was killed at work, at her place of work. Someone even made an AI picture of Valeria laying in the morgue where she's essayed by someone dressed as the medical examiner.
Oh, that's fucking despicable, bro. See, AI, dude. Fucking AI. Somebody really did that on their computer. Somebody really sat on their computer and made this AI video of this old guy essaying her. How do you even have that imagination to think of that?
And so just even in her passing, there's this whole debate. Lots of people are saying, like, why are we making her a martyr? Why are we making her the face of femicide when she was the one that decided to get involved with cartels? And then other people are saying that's still victim blaming. Like that's the reason why maybe she should be the face of femicide. Not that there should be a face or one face, but it's like that's another reason people are upset. One person comments, the way that people are covering the femicide of Valeria Marquez fucking enrages me. Like, they keep spreading videos of her murder when she gets shot. They also keep only showing photos of her in swimsuits. Like, just stop. To which someone directly comments, whores who get involved with narcos don't deserve any less than to be belittled even after death. Let this be an example that easy luxury is not free.
That had to have been a man. That had to have been like a woman-hating dude. I think gender wars are fucking stupid, by the way. Fuck that. But you could just tell that that was a dude.
Valeria Marquez was not killed for being buchona, or for having plastic surgery, or for being ambitious, or for even dating a narco. She was murdered because in Mexico and in many parts of the world, having a male partner who lacks the tools to manage his emotions continues to be a risk factor for women. Valeria was not killed by her lifestyle. She was killed by a man who lacked emotional control, not because of how she looked, but because she said no and because she left a relationship. And that is where we are with Valeria Marquez's death. I will keep you guys up to date if there are any updates. What are your thoughts on this case?
That's the end of that video. So far, that's everything on Valeria that we know. I do kind of agree with that final comment of, I think the guy had a big ego problem. She left him, and then ever since that, he lost his shit. And now you can't even find him. The police can't find him. It's been forever. So that's also suspicious. So yeah, a man that couldn't regulate his emotions, emotionally immature, emotionally unstable and chaotic, killed a girl that left him. And then he teamed up with Vivian, another person who hated Valeria, was jealous of her, was very creepy towards her, perhaps wanted to be her and take her life away from her, teamed up with her, and yeah, they worked together to kill her. I think that's what I believed back when I covered this case a year ago, but now with Stephanie uploading this video with even more details, even more context, I'm pretty confident now in saying that yes, Vivian was indeed involved. Yeah, rest in peace to Valeria. I feel like Valeria was a good person, bro. Like, I didn't know her personally, but it's not like she was out here surrounding herself with, like, wanting to surround herself with that many people. She had a very tight circle, which is relatable. Even her friend, her best friend, quote unquote, Vivian, was making fun of her for being lonely. She would only hang out with her uncle, with Vivian. She was just blessed with good looks. So as a result of that, she got a big internet following, and that unfortunately attracted the wrong type of people. Yeah, for that, rest in peace to her. I hope that she's resting in a better place in heaven. Yeah, once again, rest in peace to Valeria, and that's it. Thank you so much for watching, YouTube, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.